aircraft's structural integrity and stability. With the fault resolved, the crew's attention shifted from the ECM to the onboard weather radar. They noticed a large storm looming ahead. The captain requested a deviation of 15 miles to the left of track to avoid the weather, which was approved. The aircraft then altered its course to a heading of 310 degrees. Thunderstorms pose the most significant risk to aircraft among all weather conditions. They often contain hail, heavy rainfall, lightning, ice, strong winds, and supercooled water droplets that can potentially damage an aircraft. Under extreme circumstances, pilots make every effort to steer clear of thunderstorms whenever possible to ensure flight safety. Shortly after, a second failure occurred on both rudder travel limiter units, signaled by a chime and the master caution light. Again, the same message appeared on the ECM. The pilots promptly repeated the ECM action, and both units resumed normal function. The pilots then contacted Jakarta Air Traffic Control, informing them that the flight had turned left off its planned route to avoid the bad weather. This update was acknowledged and tracked on the controller's radar. The controller then instructed the pilots to report once they had cleared the weather. Shortly afterward, the pilots requested to climb to 38,000 feet if possible, and they were told to stand by. Unfortunately, this was their final radio communication. Once again, a single chime sounded along with an ECM message. This marked the third failure of both rudder travel limiter units during this flight. Following the ECM procedures, the pilots acted, and the system returned to normal function. But 2 minutes later, the master caution light illuminated again, and the same message appeared. This was the fourth occurrence, and the captain wondered what else he could do. Instead of repeating the same action for the fourth time, which seemed pointless, something came to his mind. The captain had seen the engineer reset the FAC circuit breakers on the ground to eliminate this problem. He had even asked the engineer whether he could perform the same reset whenever the problem reappeared. But this time, they weren't on the ground with maintenance support. They were flying high above the Java Sea in the Airbus A320. The Quick Reference Handbook, in the section titled Computer Reset, states that in flight, the crew must restrict computer resets to those listed in the table. Before acting on other computers, the crew must fully consider the consequences. Having witnessed and performed flight augmentation computer circuit breaker resets before, the captain might have believed he understood the consequences. However, the FAC circuit breakers were not listed in the Quick Reference Handbook, and Airbus documents did not describe what resetting them in flight could cause. The crew should have a